much of that is built around the Commerce Clause. Education, I think, is quite different in a number of ways. So I'm going to make probably two major points here to try and answer your question. One is that states and localities have traditionally had this power, and our entire system is quite different from countries that started from a centralized and uniform set of standards in schools. France is probably the best example of that. I think there's a quip from President Mitterrand in the early 80s where he's saying, what I love about the French education system is that I know that 11-10, all students are learning X, Y, and Z. In jest, but there is some truth to that. France has a very different idea of what its culture is. They have, if you will, they have determinations about what right words are and what are incorrect words and all the rest. America's never really been that. We've been a bottom-up, common sense kind of society. That's been true of our institutions as well. Is our traditions just a good enough reason for this? No. I was pointing to subsidiarity, which is built upon that common sense approach, which is that accountability should rest where people are really paying multiple bills because you feel most of the pressure. If you're paying for 90% of it, you should have control over it. So that's one point, the traditions, but also it's related to our political history and political theory. The second thing is something that Bill Evers talked about yesterday. Dr. Evers was mentioning competitive federalism. Our system is a federalist system, which has, yes, tripartite government in terms of branches of government horizontally, but also vertically, where we have federal, state, and then local institutions, in addition to intermediary associations, which are voluntary, which play a huge role here, of which I am part. That's what I am, if you will, in some ways. And I think that the preservation of that system is not only important because it's our system, if you will, but that competition among states is really important if we start sharing what works and what doesn't work. So that's my second argument. The third argument is this. Education is not just about international competition. It's about rearing great human beings. And I would urge all of us to think that is a regional and local and church and family related question or set of questions. Again, if you're thinking about adopting the U.S. history standards for Massachusetts, I'd say that's wonderful in part, but go and make it your own. Make sure your Ohio kids know where your touchstones, your historic touchstones are here. Make sure you make it something they can identify with and have pride. Because pride means participation. Pride in your local public thing means participation. So those are probably I extended you now to three different arguments, but
Excellent. I appreciate the response.